of honor. All right, I have the fun video to share with you today. I have been quilting on this amazing quilt made by my client, Jan. And as I've been quilting out this quilt, I've definitely been recording videos and creating a full, actually 2 full videos sharing step-by-step my entire process of machine quilting this quilt. So today I'm going to share just a little sneak peek, one of the blocks, one of the star blocks that's around the outside of the quilt. I'm going to show just some of my machine quilting on that block. But if you do want to see this whole entire quilt from start to finish, how I machine quilted it, do make sure that you check out my Patreon page. What is Patreon? Okay, so Patreon is another service. It is a subscription service that you can sign up for. There's different levels that you can join at, but it's a place where let's call it like a deeper dive into my process. So I start out showing you the quilt before I do any machine quilting, and then walk you step by step with videos through my process of machine quilting a whole entire quilt. I've been sharing videos over on Patreon for over 2 years now, so quite a while. Every month a minimum of 2 videos. So there's a lot of content over there. Once you sign up, you even get access to all the back content. So a lot of inspiration that you may want to check out. We'll post links below where you can check out my Patreon page. But for now, I hope you find a little bit of inspiration from this gorgeous star quilt block. Let's get stitching. So we'll start out working on the blocks. With this quilt, there's several thread color changes that are going to happen. It's a big quilt, and I know often I tell you guys, okay, I start out and stitch like all of the gray, whatever there's the most of. But with this quilt, I almost feel like it's so evenly, kind of colors versus the gray and all of that. So as I quilt this quilt, I am actually going to go through, with this top pass, I'll go through and quilt all of the gray first. And then I'm going to actually switch colors with every single block at the top and advance the quilt, and I'll repeat the same thing. So it's taking quite a bit longer to actually quilt this quilt, but I feel like overall, even though it is taking longer, and usually I'm a pretty quick quilter, this I feel like is the right thing to do on this quilt. So when I tell you guys there's no rules, there's no right or wrong way to do something, I truly mean it, because in some videos and some quilts that I quilt, I'm going to do one thing and the next quilt might be totally different. So that's why I genuinely feel that there's definitely no right or wrong way, because they're all different. So as you can see here, I'm starting out. Now around each of these blocks, I'm stitching this fun, you can call it whatever you want. I've heard some people call them fingers or bumps or different things like that, but it's a fun way to dress up a block. I'm not using obviously any rulers here. I'm using this as the frame around every single one of these patchwork blocks. So they'll give a nice kind of simple look, but they do kind of dress up the blocks a little bit too. Now when I stitch these out, I do try to make them pretty consistent in size, but because I'm not measuring, they're not exactly perfect, and I'm okay with that because I'm a human stitching these out. So you can see how I started on one thing and then work my way all the way around the outside of the block with those shapes. Then after I get to the corners, I'll make them kind of fill in the corners. So a couple of those kind of coming out from the corner, I'll switch and continue stitching those around the remainder of the block. Now, every single one of these blocks across this top row of the quilt does have a blue background or a gray background. So I am going to go through and stitch all of the gray background filler, as much of the gray as I can in this top pass, and then that's when I'll change thread color. So I'm not changing on every single block. I'm changing, I've quilted the most gray, and then I change, then I'll stitch the most blue, and so on from there. So as you can see, after I've stitched that frame around the outside, now I'm going to work my way through the block, stitching, filling in that background filler. Here I'm stitching out the fun swirly pebble background filler. So mostly pebbles, but occasionally adding in a fun little swirl just to dress it up just a little bit. Now that's something I'm going to continuously add through the whole entire quilt background. Remember, if I do something in one place, I do like to continue doing it throughout the whole entire quilt so that things seem to flow together really nicely. I do also love the stitch in the ditch look. So this is a point where I'll go through and start doing some of my stitch in the ditch work. I hope you're all able to find just a little bit of inspiration from that fun video. I love it. I love how this quilt turned out. You can take a deeper look into the machine quilting on this beautiful quilt with me if you'd like over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Natalia Bonner. Have a great day, everybody.